The first group of Kazakh peacekeepers arrived from Lebanon. For 6 months, the Kazakh servicemen took part in the United Nations Interim Force mission in the Middle East. As part of the Indian battalion, they performed tasks to maintain peace and security in the region. For 6 months, you had honorably fulfilled your duty in Lebanon and returned home with honor. Now your colleagues, who have also undergone high-quality comprehensive training, are replacing you. I went as a paramedic to the peacekeeping mission. I'm very happy to be home again. Our companies patrolled the area. They were guarding roadblocks. I talked to local people. The service was carried in the south of the country, in the Marjioun city, which borders with Israel. This is the first peacekeeping contingent in Lebanon in history of Kazakhstan's armed forces. According to the UN mandate, 120 Kazakh servicemen headed to Lebanon with the peacekeeping mission in October of last year. They were carefully selected. The servicemen honed their skills at home for a whole year. The second peacekeeping mission, who has gone extensive training, will go to Lebanon. Four new special economic zones will be established in Kazakhstan in cities such as Petropavl, Kostanay, Aktobe and Baikonur. At the moment, officials of Kazakhstan's Ministry of Industry and Infrastructural Development are reviewing proposals from regional authorities. Currently, there are 12 special economic zones and 23 industrial zones in the country. For instance, there is a textile industry cluster in the special economic zone on Tustik, located in Shymkent, where small and medium businesses are operational. Another special economic zone is Pavlodar, where aluminium production facilities involved in manufacturing of products of a much higher quality were established. The enterprises also established successful cooperation between each other. Meanwhile, industrial zones in Kizilorda region are leading in Kazakhstan in terms of the volume of attracted investment. The largest number of projects was commissioned in Shymkent. The largest number of industrial zones is observed in Turkestan region. 183 projects were commissioned in special economic zones, including 46 foreign invested projects. About 314 billion tenge were allocated for infrastructural developments in all special economic zones. The amount of attracted investments total about 910 billion tenge. It shows that 1 tenge invested in infrastructure of these zones allowed to attract 2.8 tenge of private investments. 168 production facilities with the investment volume of about 183 billion tenge were commissioned in industrial zones. 86 billion tenge were invested in their infrastructure. Therefore, we attracted 2.1 tenge of investments per 1 tenge of the budget.
Салынған бір бюджет теңгесі 2,1 теңге инвестиция тартты.
According to experts, the volume of investments attracted to the industrial zones will reach 520 billion tenge by 2021. It will allow to commission 173 new enterprises, and 40 of them are expected to be commissioned this year. Moreover, 147 projects will be implemented in special economic zones in the upcoming 3 years, and 36 enterprises will start their production activities by the end of the year. Global financial institutions such as the IMF, the EBRD, the Asian Development Bank, the Asian Infrastructure Development Bank, and the World Bank are set to enhance cooperation with the Astana International Financial Center, as these organizations are strategic partners of the AIFC. This year, the World Bank experts will train the AIFC specialists about the basics of the financial forensics. Experts believe that this experience will be useful for cooperation with investors.
The World Bank has been part of the Astana International Financial Center dispute resolution mechanism establishment from day one. Our bank office has been involved in the initial consultations. We fully recognize that AIFC Center has to be positioned more regionally and globally for more investors to understand and know about its functioning.
International investors are expected to be attracted to the Astana International Financial Center by unique measures such as tax benefits, as well as simplified monetary, visa and labor requirements. Experts believe that the AIFC is a financial hub that will connect the Central Asian countries, the Caucasian region and Russia.
As part of the UN organization, we work with a lot of governments, including Kazakhstan. So in the area of financial connectivity, we are working with the government of Kazakhstan on promoting infrastructure financing. Kazakhstan actually, and we're working very closely with AIFC as one of the leading partners to try and promote international best practices.
Days of Culture of Tajikistan in China were opened with the exhibition of paintings. Visitors were fascinated by the beauty of Central Asia. Chen Heng is an art student. She admits that she did not expect to see such depth in the work of the Tajik colleagues in the workshop. It can be seen that Tajikistan has a very rich culture. The colors of paintings are very bright and lively. It seems like each painting is bringing us a part of this country. Using the canvas and brush, painter Olimkhon Rabiev conveys about the rich culture of Tajikistan, its people and nature.
Наши работы здесь показывают наш быт, нашу традицию.
Our works show our traditions, life and lifestyle of Tajiks. Tajiks are the most ancient people of Central Asia. The country has many traditions and folk artisans.
Много традиций, много народных ремесленников.
The Ministers of Culture and Tourism of China and Tajikistan discuss potential cooperation on the cultural expansion between the two states.
Наша культура Таджикистана очень приемлема для...
Chinese people can relate to our culture. Tajiks can also relate to Chinese art. This is Asia. The East is a delicate topic. China and Tajikistan are neighbors, partners and brothers. Following the promotion of the Belt and Road Initiative proposed by Chinese President Xi Jinping, Chinese-Tajik relations have entered a new stage of comprehensive development. Cooperation in various areas is developing rapidly. This has shown benefits to the people of the two countries. Cultural heritage of Tajiks stays forever. Centuries pass, but Tajik songs, costumes and dance remain unchanged. They can only be improved for the delight of the audience. Tajik artists, musicians and entertainers travel from Beijing to the Shanxi province. Days of Culture of Tajikistan in China continued in the Xi'an city. Aesthetics of Central Asia in the Chinese capital were presented both on canvas and stage. More than 7 million tourists are expected to visit Issyk-Kul this summer. The marine climate and mountain air attract tourists from Europe and the CIS countries. The travelers are particularly interested in the Kyrgyz culture. The Kyrgyz people are very creative. Our people make a lot of souvenirs. Previously, foreign visitors used to just buy the items, while recently more travelers are willing to learn how to sew and embroider. Tourism professionals from more than 100 Kyrgyz companies inform visitors about the local attractions, cuisine and share the experience with foreign colleagues. Marina Gulyayeva from Kazakhstan arrived here to establish new business partnerships.
Chimkent очень любит сюда приезжать, так как у нас семьи огромные.
Chimkent residents enjoy traveling here. Our families are large and include 2 adults and 4 to 5 children. Therefore, some travelers prefer affordable yet high quality and comfortable offers.
Категория хочет покомфортнее, как и везде.
Almost 7 million foreign tourists visited Kyrgyzstan last year, which is a record achievement for the country. Kyrgyz officials believe that the increase was affected by the Nomad Games that were held in Issyk-Kul. The event promoted Kyrgyzstan worldwide.
This
year we visited many tourist exhibitions and realized that Kyrgyzstan has become well recognized due to the Nomad Games. Various company representatives who attended our stand said that they visited the Nomad Games. They praised the country and said that they discovered Kyrgyzstan from a completely different angle. I think that this event was a very successful project. Last year, tourism industry gained $450 million for Kyrgyzstan. Previously, the majority of travelers arrived from Kazakhstan and Russia, and today, tourists from distant countries visit Kyrgyzstan as well. The lake has a vast potential and needs to be further developed. I think that within several decades, this place will turn into a wonderful resort area. Tourists are provided with passports and travelers' maps for safe and comfortable stay in Kyrgyzstan. By scanning the QR code via a special application, foreigners can connect to emergency services and learn about the most beautiful destinations in Kyrgyzstan, as well as discounts in hotels and restaurants. Konstantin Paustovsky was a well-known Soviet writer, journalist, scriptwriter, and a teacher who was nominated for the Nobel Prize for Literature 3 times. The writer's works form an integral part of the cultural heritage of the Soviet Union, and his novels are included in the compulsory school curriculum for literature. The writer had close connections to Kazakhstan and Almaty, as he was evacuated here with his family during the Second World War. As he lived and worked in Kazakhstan, the writer wrote his first novel here. Paustovsky lived in Almaty in a flat of another famous writer, Mukhtar Awezov.
Константина Паустовского связывала дружба и приятельские отношения.
Konstantin Paustovsky was friends with Mukhtar Awezov as well as other prominent writers, including Sabit Mukhanov and Gabit Musrepov. At that time, literary events were held in the Writers' Union, where the Kazakh writers, poets, and playwrights presented the Kazakh literature and culture to the evacuated writers from the Soviet Union. Paustovsky's popularity spread beyond the CIS countries. The writer's works have been translated into many languages, including the Dutch. Admirers of Paustovsky's works from the Netherlands and Belgium established the Konstantin Paustovsky International Society. The society members became interested in the time period when the writer lived in Almaty. Therefore, they decided to visit Kazakhstan to learn more about Paustovsky's life in the city.
У нас общество Константина Paustovskого, это голландского.
I represent the Dutch-Flemish Konstantin Paustovsky Society. We read Paustovsky's works as we are very interested in his novels. There are wonderful translations into Dutch, and we are very interested in this particular time period because many events happened at that time.
Период очень интересно, где многое произошло, и очень интересно изучать все это.
Admirers of Konstantin Paustovsky's talent learned more about his life and career after watching a film aired on Kazakh TV within the Reflections on History program. According to project developer Inna Rudakova, the facts which were used in the film were provided by people who were familiar with Paustovsky and his works.
Алмата и вообще Казахстан для Паустовского стал таким, скажем так, перекрёстком.
Kazakhstan and Almaty were a turning point for Konstantin Paustovsky and his career, just like for many other writers who lived in Kazakhstan. Paustovsky's writing talent was mastered here in Kazakhstan. The writer learned more facts and revealed new facets of Taras Shevchenko and wrote about him. Paustovsky visited Mangyshlak, where Taras Shevchenko has been in exile.
Написал про него, про Тараса Шевченко. Он побывал на Мангышлаке, где находился в ссылке Тарас Шевченко.
Paustovsky's time in Almaty was marked by increased activity and important changes in the writer's personal life. Paustovsky reflected the time spent in Kazakhstan in his works about nature. Kazakh librarians are forming the single electronic library in the country. Rare books, publications, and ancient manuscripts will be available for every user in Kazakhstan. Specialists are planning to complete the digital transformation of Kazakhstan's entire library collection by 2020. Kazakhstan's National Academic Library is engaged in implementation of the project aimed to convert paperworks into the digital format. The librarians digitally converted more than 50,000 printed and audio copies, including valuable scientific, cultural, and historical pieces. According to specialists, Kazakhstan's national, republican, and regional scale libraries are involved in the formation of the electronic library collection in the country.
Қазір біз осы көптеген кітаптардың бәрін EPUB формат деп соған ауыстырып жатырмыз. Ол ең біріншіден несі?
We are converting most of the books into the EPUB format. This format is very convenient as it allows to download a book on any gadget, smartphone, or tablet. Users can convert text from the Cyrillic alphabet into the Latin script in one click.
Баспаны басып, бүкіл жаңағы кириллицадағы әріптерін бәрін латын қарпіне көшіріп, соны аударып оқуға болады.
10 мыңға жуық сирек кітаптарымыз бар. Бүгінгі таңда 5635 данасы цифрланды.
We have more than 10,000 rare books, and we digitally converted 5,623 books out of them. In order to promote works by local writers, we signed 31 agreements to digitally convert 80 books. We are also working to implement the Shokan's Achievements project aimed to digitally convert about 40 books.
Үлкен тағы бір жобамыз бар, ол Шоқан асулары жобасы. Бұл жоба аясында 40 кітап цифрландырылды.
One of the world's leading cellists, Eldar Saparayev, gave a solo concert in Russia. The winner of international awards in Switzerland, Croatia, Italy and Germany arrived in Moscow for the first time in 15 years. In the balcony hall of the All-Russia Museum of Decorative and Applied Art, he masterfully played works by Johannes Brahms and Dmitry Shostakovich. A year ago, I organized my festival and foundation in order to support young performers. On July 21st, I invited our amazing and great violinist, Ayman Musakhadjaiva, with the orchestra as part of the festival. They will perform with the Academy of Soloists.
В рамках моего фестиваля она будет играть с Академией солистов.
In Europe, Eldar Saparayev is called a step volcano from Kazakhstan. The world-famous musician has given solo concerts in halls of Europe, America, Japan and Africa. He is currently the accompanist of the Southwest Philharmonic Orchestra of Germany. He is also a member of the cello ensemble of the Cologne Chamber Philharmonic Orchestra.
Для меня это один из лучших виолончелистов в мире. Его
He is one of the best cellists in the world. His musical and technical skills are simply amazing. I can relate to his extraordinary temperament and the scale of his performance. His erudition and intelligence can be felt in his performance, as well as his ability to quickly adapt to the chamber music. Every minute of the performance with Eldar is just sheer happiness.
Каждую минуту игры совместной с Эльдаром это просто сплошное счастье.
Eldar Saparayev highlights that despite the fact that he lives in Switzerland, he keeps in touch with his motherland. Despite his strict schedule of performance for years in advance, he visits Kazakhstan quite often. The Sievers apple is considered as a progenitor of all cultivated varieties of the apple tree, which grows in Kazakhstan. Traditionally, in the days of flowering apple groves, a festival is organized in the Sarkan district in Almaty region. This year, thousands of local and foreign tourists, as well as scientists and environmentalists from Europe and Central Asia, attended the festival. The guests were informed that the Sievers apple tree is approximately 165 million years old, and Kazakhstan is the cradle of the birth of all apples in the world. British genetic biologist Barry Juniper proved this fact in 2002. Every year, the number of tourists is growing in the region. Last year, more than 2 million people visited the Almaty region. This year, we expect no less. We organize these sorts of events in order to attract tourists. The Garden of Eden, where the population of the Sievers apple tree grows, is located on the spurs of Tien Shan Range, Tarbagatai, Ilye, and Jungar Alatau. In addition, a fund has been established in the country to preserve the variety of trees which is on the verge of extinction. Every year, we plant 2,000 seedlings on the slopes of the mountains. We have a special seed plot where we grow them. We carry out constant monitoring and take care of the trees. Mavrigi is the ancient musical art of Tajiks. The musical art is unique with its spontaneity. The song is composed right during the performance. Mavrigi is sung on usual topics such as love, loyalty, and family. Girls with spoons have a harder task since they set a rhythm during the dance. In some Tajik families, singing and dancing is an old tradition that had developed long before the festival. Mothers, fathers, grandfathers, and even great-grandchildren take part in these ensembles. Our father organized our ensemble in the late 1980s. No matter how many times we perform, there is always excitement. Our goal is to develop such ensembles, to look for new talents, as well as to revive national cultural traditions. Most importantly, we want to instill in young people respect for historical values and traditions. Tajik treats its traditional art with great respect. The musical art Mavrigi is no exception.